everyone, this is Macy, and this is my review of New Moon by Stephanie Myers. So for anyone who didn't see my review of Twilight, I'll give some brief personal context to the situation. It took until I was 20 years old to finally read and watch all of the Twilight movies and start reading the books. Growing up, I claimed to hate Twilight, even though I knew close to nothing about it. I blame the media and the fact that society hates on anything marketed towards teenage girls. A few weeks ago, I finally watched all of the movies and read the first book. Also, my review of Twilight will be linked down below if you haven't seen it already. So, with all that being said, this is my review of New Moon. This is a spoiler review, so there will be spoilers ahead if you have not read these books already. When I was doing research for this video, it was just like people just didn't like this book. Just overall, people just thought it was the worst one, or they didn't like it. Just people didn't really seem to like this one. One of the main complaints that I saw was that Bella was too depressed and just needed to get over Edward. It makes me really sad to see that that was one of the main complaints of this book, was that she was too depressed. I personally related to Bella so much in what she was going through. Not to get too personal, but I personally went through a very similar situation to Bella with my first relationship. I talked about this in my review of Twilight, but I'll say it again, I was the same age as Bella when I fell in love for the first time and had my first relationship. I related to her a little bit too much with her obsession with Edward. Even the part that being with him or not affects the way that she acts and affects her mood. So when he's not with her, then she's depressed. I just drew a lot of parallels and comparisons to my first relationship and Bella and Edward's. Even in New Moon, when he breaks up with her, that hit a little too close to home for me. After my own breakup, it took me at least a year to fully get over it. And it took half of a year for it to stop hurting every time I even thought about it. Similar to what Bella was going through. Also, just how Edward treated her before breaking up with her and leaving was completely uncalled for. It just made it so much worse for her in the end, honestly. Charlie's a really good dad, and you can see that he's trying and he's just so worried about her, but I still feel like he could have handled it a little bit better, considering he went through a very similar experience when Renee left with Bella. I don't like Jess. I didn't really like her in the beginning, and I kinda gave her the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, no, she's my least favorite character. I actually really liked Jacob's character up until he changed. Him and Bella actually had a lot of chemistry, and I really liked their dynamic together. I just really liked seeing Bella happy and kind of heal a little bit. One of my favorite things about them was that age joke that they had, where they would like add years onto each other to see who was older mentally. I thought that was so cute. Before he changed, Jacob was so healthy for Bella, and like I said before, he was helping her heal. But then after he changed, he became completely toxic towards her, rivaling Edward at this point. I just hate how angry both of them are. I personally have a problem with men who have excessive anger issues, but you know, that's me. But I did note that before Jacob went through his change, he was the complete opposite of Edward. Like almost in every way possible. If Jake would have continued to be the way that he was before he changed, I would have been Team Jacob, like hands down. But until one of them stops being so toxic towards Bella, I'm not gonna be Team Edward or Team Jacob, realistically. Like, Jake had no right to hurt Bella the way that he did. He just punched another hole in her. It was still smaller than Edward's, but it was still something. I will say though, part of me still feels bad for Jacob. Like, Bella obviously just doesn't like him more than just a best friend, but he just won't take the hint. But on the other hand, he's just in love with her. But Bella does have boundaries that are set up, and she is voicing them, so it's kind of on him. I actually really like Bella a lot as a character. I liked her a lot in this book. Watching her heal and deal with the breakup was very interesting to me. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Alice is the best, and she's like my favorite character. So something that really bothered me was the reunion at the end with Edward. He doesn't even seem like he loves her or excited to see her after trying to kill himself by exposing himself to everybody. Like, he doesn't even kiss her. Like, sure, he's protective in front of the Volturi, but like, that's it. I don't know, it just bothered me. Then on top of that, Bella forgives him way too easily for my liking. Like, as soon as she sees him, everything that she just went through is just out the window. All that growth that she went through was just gone. Like, even when she wakes up with him in her bedroom, she's not even pissed at him. I'd be so mad. I was surprised he even gave her a sincere apology, but it took way too long. Like, it took him way too long to even say that he was sorry. Like, he says right here on page 506 that I had no idea. I didn't realize the mess I was leaving behind. Like, you literally... He's so frustrating. Like, you didn't think that Victoria wouldn't come back and try and kill her or come for you? I don't get it. He goes down, further down, he just starts talking about how that he left Bella in the presence of werewolves and they're worse than Victoria. Like, are you kidding me? They actually tried to protect her. Like, in the end, I can understand why Edward left and kind of his thought process, but it still doesn't excuse the amount of pain that he put Bella through. Like, he hurt her so bad. He literally broke her. After I finished the book, I watched the movie again to kind of compare the two. So, in the end, when Edward's about to expose himself and Bella stops him, I complained about it in the book that I didn't like that part because it didn't really seem like he loved her, or he didn't really, I don't know, it just didn't sit right with me. But in the movie, they embrace and kiss each other passionately, which is what I expected to happen in the book. It made more sense in the movie than it did the book for me. Obviously, the movie is just a shell of what the book is, considering the book is almost 600 pages. It's not a bad adaptation, I'll say that. It's a great summary of the book, even using direct quotes from the book at times. But I will say, after reading an almost 600-page book, the 2-hour movie went by very quickly. Something I did want to mention is a huge complaint that I have about the movies and the books just in general, and that's the cultural appropriation, and that's the slandering and just being ignorant in general towards the native cultures. Like, it definitely stood out more to me in the movies, but it is still very prominent in the books. The fact that this is kind of like Jacob's book and his kind of side of the story with his relationship with Bella, I thought that I'd mention it here because it's mostly about him and his tribe. On another note, just an overall question that I have for the series. We know how some of the vampires have very special abilities, like Edward's mind reading, Alice's seeing the future. We learn in this book that Bella is immune to all special abilities from vampires. So that being said, why does Jasper's power work on her? Like, his whole calming, like, affecting the emotions in the room of everybody, like, how does that affect her when nobody else's does? Is that just a plot hole? Or is it, I don't know. So overall, I really like this book. I think that it helps that I'm going into these with kind of the bare minimum. It's like I'm going into this, like, expecting the worst, and it's not the worst. So yes, this book is about Jacob and Bella's relationship. That's kind of the main focal point of it, but it is still about what Bella chooses as a character, just like the last one. It's her choice over what boys she wants to end up with in the end, even though they're both stupid, and I don't like either of them. It's her choice if she wants to stay human or become a vampire. Okay, if I had to choose at this point after reading this book, I'm Team Jacob. I know I said before I wouldn't choose logistically, but if I had to, then I would choose Jake at this point. I choose Jake because at this point I'm kind of like Charlie, where it's gonna take a lot for me to forgive Edward after what he put Bella through. If you like this video, then please leave a like. If you want to see more of my face and the reviews for the rest of the series, then please feel free to subscribe down below. The reviews for these books will be linked down below, as well as my other social medias. And like I said before, the review of Twilight is already linked down below, so you can go watch that if you haven't already. Thank you so much again for watching this video. Bye!